Anytime you add a dash of milk to your morning coffee or tea, or salivate over some fresh, well-seasoned catch of the day, there's an Annette, Lisa, or Sylvia to thank. Annette Beckett, a dairy farmer at Blower's Dairy Farm, and fish processors Lisa Bascombe and Sylvia White, who work in the Bridgetown Fish Market, are some of the unsung heroes of food production in Barbados, bravely working through a pandemic to ensure that the nation's dietary needs are met. And even though their days may be vastly different, one thing is definitely the same. Water is an essential component of safely and effectively doing their work.
Well, yes, water really, on a dairy farm, water will be one of the principal ingredients because milk, which is produced by the cows, is 80% water. So you need a tremendous amount of water. One cow could use between 26 and 30 gallons of water per day, and that depends on what stage that cow is at. If it is had just had a baby, had just had a calf, it will use more water. So water is an essential on a farm. So principally the use of the water on a dairy farm will be for the animals. For feeding, you use the water when you're milking because everything must be sanitized, and the water is used to clean each cluster before it goes on to the cow breast. And then depending on how much land you're using for your grass, you have to fertilize and care the grass. So again, that is water.
Well, we use water everywhere because we have to process the fish by water. We have to scale them, we have to gut them, we have to bone them, we have to wash them, and then you have to clean up. So we use water everywhere.
For me, processing at least 500 fish a day, I can use close to 1,000-gallon water tank per day.
Climate variability will have varying impacts on their lives and livelihoods, ranging from the influx of sargassum to high seas during hiking season. Drought and increased temperatures, even just a few degrees of change, can make a big difference for water needs and the role that these women play in their respective sectors. This affects water availability, water quality, and water for the various economic activities they are involved in. Fish processing, for example, is often dominated by women, making them significant users of and decision makers on water.
With the facilities that we have, the weather might not impact it that much where the production process is concerned, but any weather system that comes across the Caribbean would affect my work pertaining to the boats going out there and bringing in fish that I can work with.
Well, it would affect me more if I go out to sea, because then you would be involved in hurricanes or, rough seas or stuff like that.
At Blowers, where Annette works, ongoing drought conditions impact not only the amount of water they have for the cows, but it could also mean that the grass the cows eat can just be as nutritional as bus tickets.
The drought is something that we cannot control. So therefore, and the drought affects us with water as well as with grass, forage. Because if the grass does not get the water, it's equivalent to feeding the cows bus tickets, as we say. Because all that happens is that the grass goes straight in and come back out. The cows don't utilize it to use milk.
This can also affect the quality of milk and meat as well. These challenges can also mean more work for Annette and her colleagues. The St. James Farm has therefore benefited from a water harvesting system made accessible through donor funding, and the benefits are already clear.
Over the past 10 years, I would say, we do what we call water harvesting, so that when the rain falls, we harvest the water, as you can see in the many tanks that you see around here, the black tanks. That's what we harvest the water in, and the water is pumped from those tanks by a solar pump. That suffices as long as you continue to get rain to replenish the tanks. The problem now with the drought is that when our water goes from in those tanks and there's no rain, then we are like everybody else, water scarce.
Lisa and Sylvia, on the other hand, have also identified ways to ensure that the market makes the best use of the water resources. They have several concerns about water wastage at the city facility, and they believe there is no sooner time to act. Their voices and leadership are going to be important in making sure that some of these changes happen and happen soon.
Hundreds of gallons of water waste in the market per day. I think that the water authority should come into the market and see how much water goes to the ocean, and every vendor should have X amount of gallons of water per week or per month, however them look at it. You know, allocate X amount of water per person, and when that water is finished, you have to then pay for what other water you use. Too much water runs in Bridgetown Fishing Complex.
Having a desalinated plant close to the fishing industry, and even to supplement the port area as well, would be nice for us to curb some of the usage of our other water collection process. If we can source some from the sea that is close to us, it would be really, really good to help out in the processing of not really the processing of the fish itself, but the sanitization and cleaning down of the facility.
Annette, Lisa, and Sylvia's on-the-ground perspectives really shine an important light on the everyday realities and risks of those who rely on water for their work. However, the voices of women in agriculture and fisheries are not always heard. This lack of input and influence can have negative impacts on any initiative which seeks to better allocate resources to meet the needs of users, whether they are women, men, and/or marginalized groups. So be sure to consider the Lisas, Sylvias, and Annettes of the world as we plan long-term for Barbados' water resources.